Hello and welcome back to another episode of Farming Simulator 25 with me, Daddy Jokey, and here we are on Riverbend Springs, episode 5, I believe. Today what we're going to do is we're going to plow up these 3 fields and we're going to combine some of them together. I've already gone ahead and grabbed the plow, and so all we have to do is just figure out which of these 2 fields we're going to connect together. So for that, I'm going to hop into the build mode and I'm going to go ahead and check out what options we have. So we have option number 1, plow all 3 of them together. Option number 2, plow these 2 together. Option number 3, plow these 2 together. I still think that we should use this area over here as a place to put some placeables. Greenhouses and such like, and so I think I want to keep one of these tracks to get up there. However, I don't know which one. Now, one thing that I'm trying to keep in mind is that if we combine these 2 fields together, it will be roughly the size of this one. If we combine these 2, we're gonna have one small field and one nice big field, potentially about the size of field number 2 across the road over there. Also, this track leads directly to the area and already has a kind of a, I guess, parking place or like compacted dirt / gravel leading up to there. So I'm thinking we plow this field together with this one. And so that's what we're gonna do. And the easiest way I know how is basically just making sure that when you start plowing, you know exactly where the edge is going to happen. And so first thing I like to do is I like to go into the field, lower the plow, and find out exactly where the furrows will happen if I drive the plow. And so it kind of looks like it should happen right behind my wheel, but as you can see, this is the bad field to do it on. As you can see, it does hang out to the side a little bit. So when I start plowing, it should really just happen right behind the wheel, but based on the angle of the textures is where it actually takes place, and so I'm a little worried about that. On the other side, we're digging this big ridge, or ditch I guess, and so actually getting that to align properly might be a bit problematic because it is one furrow over from my wheels. So I'm not entirely sure which is going to be the way to go, because I don't want to mess up the ground too much and too far. Luckily, there's a simple solution to that, and it is saving the game. We'll save the game, and if I mess this up, we'll try again. So lower this, and then we'll allow create fields once we reach the section where we actually want to allow a new field. So here. And turned off. And that looks like a perfect, almost perfect. There's a tiny bit over there that I don't care for. But good job. Same thing on the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and save the game again. Since we were successful on this side, we might as well keep that going. And the other thing over here is whether or not I want to plow in some more of this area. But I don't think I will. I think I will just leave that as it is. Let's not confuse the hole plus worker any more than it needs to be. Okay, save the game again. And align the tractor, the wheel of the plow just on the outside edge of the field. Right there. Well, that's too far. There we go. I would really love the allow cultivators to create field mod, because that makes it so much easier, I think. Here we go, and turn off. Well, I think that's a success. I think we done good. So the last thing to do is just plow up this middle, and then a new field will be created. So we'll just go ahead, do that. Nope. One, a little bit over. Here we go. So here we go, just down the track, turning it over. Of course, I think in reality we probably have to take a digger of some kind and remove the gravel first, and spread a whole bunch of manure to get the fertility back up from all the compaction and everything that happens when you're driving over the track repeatedly. Maybe even, here we go, lift that up so we accidentally don't mess up the front of the field over here. Turn around, do the same thing to the other side. And when we're done with this, we'll check on the map to make sure that the fields are connected, and then we'll try and see if a worker can correctly navigate this and actually take care of the plowing. Plowing is one of the things that I really hate doing in this game, or any farming simulator, mostly because it is forever taking in a way. The plow is one of the smallest implements per horsepower. Like this plow I have is basically fully taxing the tractor. We have a 160 horsepower tractor, and all we can do is basically a 5-furrow moldboard plow. The other thing is that these days you don't actually do a lot of plowing. I mean, it is location specific, but the modern farming practices don't necessarily go in much for plowing anymore. And you can see we have successfully plowed fields 3 and 4 together. They are beautifully connected. And where does it say? Here we go. Needs plowing. If we turn on needs plowing, all of our fields really kind of do. And so we're gonna send a worker to do both of these, and then we're gonna go and plant wheat or barley on it ourselves. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the tractor off the field over here, turn that off, then I'll hold H, and now we have the field right here. We have a working width of 2.5 meters, a number of headlands. I actually don't want that many. How can I turn that off? I don't want 5 headlands. I don't want any headlands if I can help it. No, it's just gonna be like that. Okay, I am a little bit annoyed that it doesn't let me reduce the number of headlands to just 1. But I guess it makes some sense. So we'll have him do this and call it good. And we want the worker to start work on the headlands start with up and downs, the normal way of plowing a field, and then activate the worker, watch them go off, and do the thing. I hope that the little bits that are plowed, or in fact the fact that this field has a plowed texture, isn't actually going to change what the worker does. Oh, it is, isn't it? He's gonna get all wonky, despite the fact that the field says needs plowing. So I'll actually hang out over here for a minute, just to verify that the worker isn't gonna mess this up too much. Because if they do, we're gonna turn on the steering assist and plow the fields using steering assist instead. Because we can't really have a mess out of this because I don't want to have to go manually fix the whole thing. I would much rather drive up and down by myself than having to then redo the entire bit because the worker is confused. Okay, that's a thing. I guess he doesn't bother flipping the plow over. Let's see. So if the worker goes all the way to the other edge, we're good. If he stops right here after he reaches the plowed texture of the other field, we're not good. And it looks like we're also gonna have to do some rock picking after, which I'm not super keen on that either, but it is what it is. Oh, yep. Okay, we're gonna turn him off then. What a muppet. So right now, we have needs plowing turned off. And he stops as soon as he reaches this field because it has a plowed texture, but it does not have a plowed state. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold H again, and we're gonna hit steering assist. We're gonna do 2 headlands because why not? And show lines on. Okay. And so now I have to figure out how to actually do this. That's gonna be a whole thing of its own. So we have 2 headlands. So we should be able to come in on this line right here. We want to end on the headland. And that looks like this is the end right there. Okay. We want this one right here if we can. So which button do I need to hit in order to do this? Whoop, not that one. I probably should have looked that up. So let's quickly hit in here. Go into controls and see what the controls say. Cruise control, toggle steering mode, control Y. Okay. So control. I'm a little worried about using the letter Y while having a plow. Yep. Okay. Activate lane, just H. Okay. Well, that makes it easy. Alright, let's go. And see if I can do a better job than the computer. Clearly not, because I think I have the plow the wrong way around. So when I get to the other side, I'm going to flip it over so that the ditch on that last moldboard is on the inside of the field where we're going to drive with our wheel. And you can see already that the tractor is kind of struggling a little bit. We are dragging 5 moldboards and it is using every ounce of power this tractor has. So that'll be interesting. Alright, we're coming up to the end of the lane. Lift it up. Yeah, and so ideally now we would want to have the plow this way so that it creates the driving lane for the other side. So this is good. We're gonna drive our wheel into this ditch while we're going the other way. I turned off the steering assist, so I have a bit of a kink in the thing over there, but it'll be okay. And I guess it is probably best that we do the rest of this in a time lapse, because this will take ages, literal ages. I may be old by the time I'm done with this. So here we go, some plowing music, and I'll come back when it's done. Okay, here we go. I'm back, and as you can see, even though I promised a time lapse, what's actually happened was a fade to black and fade back in, because I kid you not, I'm not even done yet, and it's already taken over 45 minutes of real time to actually plow this field. This is exactly why I don't like plowing in any farming simulator, because the size of the implements is so small that even what amounts to a fairly small job takes forever. And I just don't have that kind of free time to enable me to just sit here and for 45 minutes go up and down and plow a field. Now, that field over there needs plowing as well, but unlike this one, it doesn't have two different field states on it, and so our AI worker should actually do a decent enough job of it that I don't have to worry about it. Now, this field isn't entirely done, so don't worry, you're not missing out on all the fun that plowing entails. There's still some of it to be done, and you get to sit here with me and watch. So yeah, you. Here we go. A last 2 up and downs over here, and then I still have to do the, I guess the top of the field now that we've kind of changed the orientation of them. But that shouldn't take horribly long, and when it's done, it should be ready to carry whatever we decide to put on it. I think I said wheat or barley, which is the stuff that's currently in season. It is the stuff that also gives us straw, which is good, because that's another part of the crop that gets sold or used up in a different way. We currently don't have cows, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to keep flip the plow over, if I'm going to keep the straw, or if I'm going to just drop it at the sale point next time the price is good. I think in this state normally we'd probably sell the straw. There's no reason to hang on to straw if you're not going to use it. There are people out there who will gladly buy it off you, and so that's probably what I'm going to do. Just sell it for a few dollars more, cover the losses that we incurred doing the wood harvesting the other day. As fun as that was, renting the log carrier cost more than what the logs actually netted. Mind you, that was because that was deadwood, which is stuff that's really only suitable, who knows what for, maybe to be turned into firewood. It's not quality wood. You wouldn't turn it into boards to make, construction or furniture grade stuff out of it ever. Like, that stuff, it's just deadwood. In some cases it's rotten, in other cases it's just faulty and damaged in myriad different ways. It's why the tree was dead to begin with. But so, that's the reason why the logging wasn't profitable for us in the slightest. I think the contract itself barely covered the loss of the few $100 that we incurred from renting the thing. But anyway, so what the plan is right now is to finish plowing this field. I still have to do that one down on the long edge, I think. And then this field to the left has to get plowed, but we'll leave the AI worker to do that. And while the AI worker is doing that, I assume it's going to take them 45 minutes as well. I am going to go ahead and do something else to earn money. Let's quickly check the little map that says how well we're doing plowing. So we have this all the way done. There's a tiny speck over here. I'm not worried about that at the moment. It won't really change anything in terms of yield too greatly. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. What was that about? There you go. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about is, I don't know if we're going to get to see it at this particular point in time. And since I decided not to do the time-lapse, you won't even get to see it in the time-lapse. Sometimes the texture behind the plow just kind of clips in weirdly. Right now it seems to be fine because we're creating this big old ditch because of the way that the plow is oriented. But I've noticed that sometimes you get like 2 meters, 3 meters of just texture kind of clipping in ever so slowly as you're driving along. And I thought that was a little bit odd. Is the whole field done? Yes, we missed 2 little spots in the corners. Like I said, I'm not bothered. Let's get out of here and drive up to the other field. Actually, I don't even have to do that, do I? I can just set the worker to do that. Go ahead there. And hit AI worker. No field, actually. All wrong. We go to here. And we go to create jobs. And then we select a vehicle. I guess I have to get out of the vehicle in order to select it. We get here and we select a vehicle. And we go set destination. And we go there. And then the worker will go and do that. It looks like they are folding the plow first. Okay. What are you doing? Okay, well, what a lunatic. Look at this texture though. This texture is a little kind of weird looking, if I'm honest. But I don't want to be negative when playing this game. I couldn't do better, and so I don't really want to talk smack about the way things are done. Besides that, this is the first time that Giants have done deformable terrain like this, and so a little bit of jankiness is to be expected, I think. Yeah. So the AI drove it all the way here. I guess I didn't really think to create the job from all the way over there and then send the AI to drive here. And if you heard that crack, which I'm pretty sure you did, that's my chair. It's a bit dodgy. So here we go, turn on that. Hold this. It's selected the field right. Work direction automatic. Ooh, we changed the work direction. Where? There was like a little arrow that popped up. Where did that go? Oh, we went this way. Nope. Nope. Almost. Oh, shoot. Of course, it doesn't line up exactly, but this actually seems like it would make a potentially faster way of plowing than just up and down. Let's see. How do we get back to auto? Here's auto. So automatic would have us go up and down this way. Either way, there's going to be these short trips. So the question is, can the worker get this done? Oh, we're in steering assist. That's what's happening. I guess, yeah. I guess we'll let them go and get on with it so we can move on with life. Work on headlamps. Yes. Here we go. Turn them on. Oh, my bad. Turn them on. Get out of the way. Alright. Go. Go forth. So while the worker is doing that, I wanted to quickly go ahead and talk about what I think I should do next. I think, in the interest of making some money long term, I should plant some trees. Now, I haven't actually looked to see how much, I don't know why I keep looking at the sales, it's just a force of habit, how much a planter would cost. And as it stands right now, we don't have the manual tree planting, which was essentially you buy a box with a shovel in it, and then you get to plant trees using a shovel, which was a much cheaper way of planting a small amount of trees or planting trees in areas where it's a little bit more difficult to do that. Where is forestry? Here we go, forestry. So planters right here, tree planters, we have 2 of them. This one is a piece that needs to be mounted on the excavator machine that is part of forestry. This one is just the regular old one that we've had in Farming Simulator since forestry was introduced. And if we hit that, you can see there's literally nothing new. But the leasing cost for it is $1,400, which, while I can afford it, is a decent amount of money, considering that we then also have to buy saplings right here for another 1,000 per 20, which, to be honest, is actually a really good price. And we want to get the, definitely not that one. Where is lodgepole pine? This thing. It grows up pretty tall, so much so it's perfect cuts, 4 perfect cuts of 5 meters each. And so we would get a decent amount of wood out of this. But it would essentially mean $2,000 worth of stuff. Or, well, it was what, like $1,600, so almost $3,000 worth of stuff. And the reward wouldn't even happen for several seasons. And further to that, would still cost money to harvest. So it would actually potentially come out to nothing. But it could be fun. Alternatively, I could also get a lot of other small things built over here, such as greenhouses, and we could start farming vegetables and put them up for sale in our little farm shop over there, or supply the farmers market that's in town. So here's our little store that we can sell stuff out of. I actually don't know what it takes. I imagine probably all commodities, but we'll see. Let's go over here and see about greenhouses. Constructibles, containers, tools, sheds. My fault, it's right here. This is pigs, sheep, chickens, bees. No? Where is it? In factories? There we go. So here, this is a greenhouse for rice saplings. Honestly, I don't know that I want to do rice on this map. It involves an entirely different set of implements to use. And so, oh, what is happening on the field? You know, we won't pay attention. We'll just leave the worker to do the worker. And hopefully they will do a good job. Now over here, we've got some tarp greenhouses. Those are pretty... I'm surprised how expensive they say they are. 36,000. I mean... This could literally be made out of PVC piping. Is it really that much tarp that it would cost $36,000 to build? Because I'm not sure that we will ever get $36,000 in vegetables out of this, right? And so, toggle snapping, yes, toggle snapping on, toggle free mode. Placing objects in free mode can cause issues with the functionality of the objects or vehicles, but allows more freedom of placement. It is your responsibility to flatten the terrain. Use this at your risk. Okay, well, that's good. I think, it turns off the whole overlaps with another object business, which is good because it means we can kind of get stuff a little bit more flush. But like they said, you could actually mess up your game. And good luck fixing that. So what I want to know is if there is a difference in production rates between small glass greenhouses and foil tunnels. Because this is really not a lot of production, right? Even, like, this is the greenhouse the size of which you would have in your garden if you're just, like, basically gardening tomatoes for your own use, right? It is not industrial grade greenhouse. This, a little better, but still, you would probably need several to have a steady stream, right? So yeah, I don't know. Should we invest in these small production facilities or save money for something bigger? Now, $36,000. See, this is interesting. This costs the same amount of money as a foil tunnel, despite the fact that it comes with two huge industrial units that supply the mushroom warehouse with water. So I don't really understand. You can see if we rotate the item, 4 of them even, right? These are 4 ginormous suction units that themselves would cost $36,000. So I'm actually kind of confused as to what that's all about. Toggle snapping on this way, and then free mode, yes. Like I said, I don't know what's in demand. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place a big old $36,000 foil tunnel, and we're gonna take it from there. I don't know if I should place it here or if I should place it all the way over here. Right. One thing that I don't want to happen is I don't want to when I place this accidentally cut into the field, because I know that previously that would sometimes happen. So what I'm gonna do first is save the game. Then I'm gonna go back there with my big greenhouse. I'm gonna plop it right kind of over here, overlaps with another object. Free mode on. Don't care. I don't even know what object it's talking about. Maybe that bush. We don't want it too close to the road. So about here about then. Yes, it didn't mess the field up. Okay, step 2. Grab some fences. That's just going to be over here in decorations. And I want to grab a fence and just kind of, you know, put a fence over here so that it's apparent to the local youth to stay away. But the question is, what fence? Whatever's cheap, really. It looks like the cheapest we can find is $100 metal mesh panel. What does that look like? Let's zoom in. Let's go over here. Okay, that looks a little bit more involved than what I'm ready for. What about, what is this? Amsterdam River fence. I don't think we're that fancy. Corrugated metal fence. That's just going to be an eyesore. Yeah, we don't necessarily need that. Steel privacy fence. Same thing. Tall picket fence. There we go. The standard of American fence building. We have chicken fence. I mean, honestly, that would probably actually be enough. Frame mesh. Yeah, these are some solid beams. I don't know. And it costs $150. It costs more to build this than it does. Oh, I don't know. That seems. Here we go. Some $70 fence. Or fences even. But I think these are like Eastern European kind of fences. Oh, the decisions, man. The decisions. What's this? Just a sort of a green wire fence. That probably will be what we end up going with. Yeah. Area is restricted. I wonder what that means. I mean, not what it means, what's causing that. No. 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 Well, maybe. Which fence is that red one over by the entrance to this area? That's what I want to know. Simple metal fence. It's not simple, though. It's got concrete or stone under... what is like a foundation. White garden fence. Brown metal fence. Oh, that's a little bit better. Is it this fence? Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Let's find what's cheap. Plop it there. Let's go with this one. It's a switch segment type N and M. So let's go and area restricted. What do you mean area restricted? But anyway, so now switch segment. Oh, it just disappeared. So yeah, so let's try that. Finish with a right click. No, placement with a left click. What? Finish. What in the world is happening? Okay, let's try again. Click here. Area restricted. Drag to here. Place. There we go. And we don't want to necessarily cut this off because we need to get in there with implements. But I do want to continue building the fence so that it looks a little bit more put together, I guess. But I also don't know what else is going to go there. So for now, we'll just leave it there. We built a production facility over there while the worker is doing what actually amounts to a pretty good job over here. It looked a bit sketchy at one point when they left that chunk in the middle. But now, it's actually starting to look like they know what they're on about. So, I'm gonna go ahead and say that we already have like a little track going on here. So what I'm gonna do is remove this bush, which is literally in the way of the water fill point. And this is where we're gonna kind of pave it, I think, maybe, because I don't necessarily want to store the pallets in the dirt. But yeah, how about this fence? That looks like something you could buy at a Home Depot. So I think I'm okay with it. But yes, hopefully, actually, hopefully the tractor will be able to turn around. They should be able to figure it out, right? So open the foil tunnel. Let's go in here, and we have what essentially is two long foil tunnels connected together. So we can grow a bunch of different stuff. And I think, I mean, let's start with tomatoes. Activate tomatoes. 2 cycles per month, $2. Cycles, or cost per month, $2. Cycles per month, 1,056. Let's also, well, strawberries are kind of... Lettuce. It all depends on the sale price, right? Lettuce and tomatoes are like a basic vegetable that you can kind of buy anywhere. I don't know that anybody would go to a special store, a special, you know, farmer's market just to buy tomatoes, but maybe. What about garlic? We could do garlic. Garlic's fun. People like specialty garlic. Let's grow garlic. And okay, let's cancel out of here and see what's happening. So we've got, interesting, it does like a companion planting. We have our tomato plant, and then we have garlic mixed in here and there. Whoop, ouch. That is interesting. I like that. I like that. That's smart. I wonder what happens if I added more. Right? Let's see. Maybe we wanted to grow some lettuce. Activate lettuce. Interesting. So the even more interesting thing is that it actually grows all the things at once. Like we could grow everything, it looks like, without losing out on anything, right? Like we don't have reduced production rate based on how many different things we have selected. So at no point do you really need to build another greenhouse. That's a little silly. But yeah, let's do lettuce, garlic, and tomatoes. Why not? close the thing, and we're gonna have to supply this with water. That's the only thing that it currently needs. It doesn't need any fertilizer or anything like that. So I'm gonna need a water bowser of some kind, a tanker. So let's go look. This is only for fuel. And let's see. So it's probably gonna be in the animals then. Barrels right there. There you go. And here we have a 2,000 liter little, probably hitches behind the car. We can customize it. How? A rim color? Okay, we'll just leave it as is. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy this one. It might prove to be a little bit of a hassle to drive it around, but it is what it is. 5,000? Was it 5,000? It was. Leave the worker to workering, hop in the car, and get over here. Over there, to the store. Forward. And then I think next episode, I'm gonna go ahead and plant some trees, even if it ends up not being super profitable. I think trees are gonna be one of those things that you have to do in bulk, right? If I plant 5 trees, then the costs of buying all the equipment that you need in order to harvest it, it's not actually going to make it profitable unless I just like work it by hand and use a chainsaw and do all of that work just basically by spending time on it, right? Instead of using like a harvester and then big log fork or whatever. But if I planted 100 of them, then suddenly it would actually pay for itself. And so maybe, you know, spending the what is it, $5,000 on the saplings and planting 100 of trees might end up being a good deal in the end. Only problem is going to be space, right? I don't know that I have all the space to do that, to do 100 anyway. Let's kick this on, turn off the road, and you can see that I'm using the automatic turn light switch off mod, which has been one of the first mods that had come out. I'm really pleased about that because it doesn't really impact your game in any significant way other than like that it's a little silly, right? Like it's just such a simple thing that could have been added to the game by default. So here we go, back to the farm. I think the farm has a water fill-up point, but it's gonna cost money, so I'm wondering if there is some place I can fill up for free skis, like at a river or something. Of course, I don't actually know what Indiana's water laws are. If you don't know what I'm talking about, to be honest, neither do I. But some states in the United States... Whoa! What are you doing? You have a stop sign. Lunatic. A bus full of children. Anyway, some states in the United States, and I think it's more west you go, the more likely and more severe it is, have kind of what's called water rights. And it's essentially, the idea is that because it's kind of dry, you can just have everybody doing whatever they want with the water. And so essentially the water belongs to the state. So much so that until recently here in Colorado you weren't even allowed to harvest rainwater. Like all the water that fell on your property belonged to the state and you were not allowed to take it because reasons. I think it was something along the lines of they have to send it down the stream to the people who live down there. Right? Which, okay, fair enough. Oh wow, this is gonna be a nightmare to back up, so I'm gonna do it from here. But anyway, so I don't know what Indiana's water rights are. I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up over here from what is a well. Yep, that is a well. And then I'm just gonna transfer it over there, and then later on we're gonna see if we can find a source of water that doesn't cost money. So start filling. It is actually a little bit silly because this is my well on my property, so I shouldn't be charged for this. I'm literally pumping water from like my water source, right? So I don't know. It's a bit gamey. We just paid $374 for water out of my own well. Like I said, I don't know. And the more mods come out, the more likely that's not going to be a problem. And yes, I know I just sped down a dirt road at 40 miles per hour in what's not an off-road pickup truck. Sweet. Here we go. Water dump. Okey-doke. And let's see how much water the greenhouse actually needs in order to stay productive without needing constant management. So here we go. Oh my, it needs 40,000 liters. So yeah, we're definitely gonna need a free source of water. And given that this worker is still not done with the field, I'm gonna go ahead and actually go look for one. And I have an idea where to look for it. It looks like down here to the right, and then to the right we go down to the river. And I think we could very well just water this with river water, right? I mean, water is water, particularly in this game. Some people would say something about like microbial growth in the water and that you shouldn't use river water, but you should wash your fruits. So, there. This looks to be another ferry. Okay, hold up. Let's hit the map. Here's a ferry. There's a bridge. This just goes across to here. I'm wondering if I could just like back up off the side of this and get some water into the water bowser. So let's go over here. Kind of sneakily, like, what's up, guy? Good looking. But they're at work. It's noon. Let's see if over here is manageable for. Ooh! I just went right in. Okay, that should be manageable. Let's back it up in there and appropriate ourselves some river water. Oh, backing up with a trailer this way is just too hard. Here we go. Right through these bushes. Now, let's flip that on, and can I refill mobile? Yes. Yes. So it is a bit dodgy. I mean, the way it just like fell off the bank, but it does mean that I can fill the water up from water sources around the map and don't have to pay for it. That's definitely what we're going to be doing, because paying almost $400 for water from our own well is a little bit ridiculous. And upside, it's a shorter drive to our thing over here. So I'll just dump this in here. Pump it up. I don't know how long it takes for the 5% that we had in there to get used up by the greenhouse. So I guess we'll see. I'll leave 2 tanks worth, which should be 10%. Right, 10%, and we'll see how long it takes for it to go away. And we're producing tomatoes, lettuce, and garlic. And we have it set to storing, which is right because we want to do all of that manual labor. And so, yeah. So this is where I'm going to leave this episode. I'm going to leave the worker to finish what it's doing off screen, and then I'm going to be done. Let me know in the comments below if you would rather that I make a video 65 million years long, even in a time lapse, where I'm just going up and down a field doing the plowing, or if you didn't mind the jump cut, because I didn't really enjoy sitting here for 45 minutes doing the plowing, so it doesn't really seem like anything that anybody would want to watch. Wow, look at that blurriness. What is happening? But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Glad you saw the video, however you may have found it. Subscribe, like, do the things that YouTube says to do, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.